Listen, semen retention gang, you know what's going on. Listen, bro. Listen, all these semen retention gurus, they do not have your best interest. I repeat, all of these semen retention gurus, they don't have your best interest because they're not really retaining. They're going on cycles like a female. At the end of the day, it's time for men and women to separate. I repeat, it's time for men and women to separate. Guys think men and women are equal. Listen, we are not equal. Besides the fact we're human. Other than that, we're not equal. Listen, a woman has a cycle. A man does not have a cycle. If you're going to practice semen retention, listen, go on a generational run. Do not release your seed until you are with the multi-millions. I repeat, do not lose your seed, do not release your seed until you're a multi-millionaire. Listen, I really have your best interest in life. I'm not going to tell you to go out and date if you're not a multi-millionaire. Why would I do that? You're not going to get the pick of the litter. You're not going to get the woman that you actually want. You're not a multi-millionaire. So why would I tell you to go date like Nana the Soul? Then 3 months later, you're going to make a relapse video. If I told you to go date like Nana the Soul, you're going to make a relapse video because Nana the Soul, I don't think he has common sense. And I'm not judging. I'm a content creator. I'm just uploading content. I'm just calling it how I see it. Listen, I'm just calling cap. And I'm seeing that from the sidelines. I'm seeing that from the bench. At the end of the day, listen, you got to understand. All the content creators about semen retention that talk about female attraction and dating and how to keep your seed while dating, at the end of the day, they don't care about you. They want you to get stepped on. At the end of the day, I repeat, none out of soul wants you to get stepped on. These YouTubers talking about female attraction, they want you to get stepped on. They're looking for views. Listen, if I talk about female attraction every single day, I would have 1 million subscribers. And I will also have 10,000 guys who are facing SA cases. I repeat, I will also have 10,000 guys alongside with those 1 million subscribers that are catching SA charges because they will be trying to keep up with me and trying to get laid. At the end of the day, absolutely not. The Lord told you to flee from temptation. So they gonna ask me, oh, how do you get the multi-millions? How do you become a multi-millionaire? How do you get the Ferrari? How do you get the Corvette C8? How do you get the Lambo Urus? Easy. Put in the work, drop content. Get you one job. And your second job, create content. I repeat, get you one full-time job. Then the second thing you do is create content. Listen, it's okay to stay down for 5 years to come up. At the end of the day, it's okay to stay down for 5 years to come up. At the end of the day, America does not respect longevity. They don't respect dudes who are 40 plus years old. They're still in shape. They've been in shape since their 20s. They've been looking like a bodybuilder since they were 20. America doesn't respect that. America doesn't respect the guy who didn't smash women, who didn't go out and casual date and ended up with a Ferrari after 10 years of hard work. America doesn't respect that. They like, oh, he ain't getting no woman. He has a Ferrari and he's not poor. He doesn't have to use women. Listen, at the end of the day, the whole goal of why I'm telling guys to get the multi-millions first is because when it comes to women, SEX happens. And guess what comes out of SEX? A potential baby in 9 months. I repeat, guess what comes out of SEX? A potential baby in 9 months. And if you're not a multi-millionaire, congratulations. I don't want to shake your hand. You are responsible for a generational curse. I repeat, congratulations. I don't want to shake your hand. You are responsible for a generational curse. You're bringing another seed into this life without multi-millions. Now when he turns 16 years old, he says, Dad, I want the AMG Benz. You're gonna say, well, son, you gotta get a job. I mean, it is what it is. At the end of the day, it ain't no it is what it is. You didn't have resources, so you can't provide. Listen, the whole goal and job of a man is to provide and protect for your family, not just your wife. Listen, at the end of the day, when I have 10 kids, I got 5 boys and 5 girls. At the end of the day, all 5 of my girls at 16 are getting a Ferrari. At the end of the day, I don't care. I don't care. At the end of the day, when my daughters turn 16, my little princesses, they're getting the Ferrari gifted to them for free. The pink Ferrari, the pink SF90 goes to all 5 of them. When my sons turn 18, they all 5 get SVJs. At the end of the day, it's because their father, aka me, before they were brought into this world, I handled business. I dropped content daily. I kept uploading. When I was getting low views, I kept uploading. When I felt the urge to relapse, I kept going. I ended up and started doing curls. I started doing pull-ups and push-ups instead. Instead of relapsing, I started doing lunges. Instead of relapsing, I started doing calf raises. Instead of going around a woman at a bar trying to get her number so I can smash, even though she's intoxicated and she's at that point now weak. Listen, all women in the bars and clubs, they're all weak. I repeat and I report, all women at clubs and bars are all weak. They're all drinking. They're all drinking around strangers. So why would you want to be weak around a stranger? At the end of the day, that's why I'm telling you guys, get the multi-millions. Because once you get the multi-millions, you can go to your own personal bar in your own mansion. You will have a bar and a bowling alley in your mansion. And you can sip wine all day long and wine with your wife. Your wife, you're married to her. Estoy cansado. At the end of the day, listen, these guys are not married. They're not married. Why are you drinking with a woman you're not married with? Listen, these guys are not preparing for the long-term generational run. They're preparing for a woman to say, oh, he touched me. Like the Tory. Listen, you're going to get Tory Lanez. You're going to go around it. The Megan Thee Stallion, they're gonna lie and say, oh, he touched me, he shot me in the foot, even though the whole time you didn't do anything, but you were around her. That's all the evidence they need. All they have to say, all the judge has to say is it was liquor involved, it was alcohol involved, non-consensual. So she said you touched her, you're saying you didn't touch her, but alcohol was involved. Alcohol is known to make people weak and fall to temptation. This is what happens when you don't have your own mansion and you're not drinking with your own wife that you married. Your wife wouldn't do that. But a girl that you're dating, oh, she would do that. She would do that. It hasn't happened to me, but I've seen people it has happened to. Listen, at the end of the day, listen, I can't set you guys up for failure. Why would I tell you? Listen, I'm not even going to tell people to subscribe and like my channel. I've never said that. No channel that I have, listen, this is my second YouTube channel. No channel that I have where I tell people to subscribe and like my videos or comment. I really don't care. I'm just a messenger. That's my only role, is to give you messages and create content. My only role when it comes to YouTube is creating content and giving you the message. I'm the messenger. Don't shoot me. I'm the messenger. I'm just going to ensure you don't go to jail. On your way to the multi-millions, on your way while you're grinding, on the way while you're retaining your seed for 5 to 7 to 10 years straight, no relapse. Listen, I'll help you. I'm the messenger. So with that being said, if I'm going to help you, listen, why am I not going to be on the front lines with you? At the end of the day, if it's a war and I'm the leader, why am I calling airstrikes instead of being on a battlefield with you? Listen, I'm going to be on a battlefield with you. Listen, I'm on 129 days of semen retention. Listen, tomorrow is day 130. At the end of the day, 130 days strong tomorrow. At the end of the day, you don't think I felt the urge or caught voices in my head that said, bro, we ain't released in a minute, bro, what you doing? At the end of the day, I hear them all the time. At the end of the day, but one thing I remember is the Bible told me to flee from all temptation. So if I hear the voice that said, bro, we ain't been on a hub in a minute, bro, we ain't text old girl back in a minute, bro, she gonna let you smash, she still like you. Let's go text her and you know what I'm saying, we could get her one, we could make it bounce and everything. Flee from all temptation. I don't care if she wants you to smash it right now. Flee from all temptation. This is what I'm saying. If you're retaining your seed, bruh, why are you not a YouTuber? Why are you just on the sidelines doing semen retention? What is your goal of doing semen retention if you're not a content creator in 2025? Why are you even retaining? At the end of the day, if you're retaining, document your journey from 5 to 7 to 10 years. I guarantee you take off. Listen, nobody's going 5 to 7 to 10 years retaining their seed to go on a generational run because the masses is weak. The masses, they never flee from temptation. The masses always run toward the temptation. Then they point the finger like, why did this happen to me? Why me? Why me? Why me? Then you're going to be depressed for no reason. When you ran toward the temptation that backdoored you or played you or disrespected you, at the end of the day, any man who respects women is not going to lust after them. Any man that, I repeat, any man that respects women is not going to lust after them because we see women as a human being because we have respect for them. We don't see women as a bubble butt object that we can make squirt and we can get a nut from. They're not objects, bruh. The more you see women as objects, the more you're going to lose. The more you're not going to focus on a LaFerrari. The more you're not going to focus on an SF90. Listen, dudes only drive the SF90 on Need for Speed video games. They only could drive the SF90 or the Hellcat on GTA mods. They never get to drive these cars in their whole entire lifetime. At the end of the day, I don't care if it takes you to 65 to get the LaFerrari. Better you got it late than you never got it at all. Because some people, they say, hey, he's 65 in a LaFerrari. He's 65 and he completed the goal of getting a LaFerrari. There's a lot of 70 and 85-year-olds who don't have the favorite LaFerrari. They don't have the LaFerrari. They never believed in themselves. But there's a 65-year-old who believed in himself and didn't listen to the masses say, oh, he's too old. Why does he need a LaFerrari? What is he trying to do? Does he got ulterior? Listen, shut up. At the end of the day, listen, I'm here. I'm strengthening men. At the end of the day, I'm iron and you guys are iron and we're strengthening each other. At the end of the day, why would I not be on the battlefield with you? Why would I tell you stay away from women? Then I'll make a relapse video like None Outta Soul. None Outta Soul is like a Western type president. They're gonna sit in the office, tell you what to do, hit and press a button, call an airstrike, and make it seem like they're the tough guy. They're the ones on it really fighting for you. At the end of the day, listen, when you retain your seed, you actually develop discernment. So when you develop discernment, you can see content creators like None Outta Soul. They don't care about you. They don't want men to be stronger. They want you to be weak. He's going to say, oh, lust is evil. Then why is he still lusting? At the end of the day, God gave man free will. So that comes with negative and positive, which means you have free will to flee from temptation, or you also have free will to run toward temptation. So if a guy relapses and he's a content creator, he's telling you to flee from temptation, then he relapses. Is he a good leader? He told you to flee and he ran toward it. At the end of the day, you're not releasing just to release. Listen, at the end of the day, you caused yourself to release. You were lusting. You could have fled from temptation, but you ran towards it. You have to take account. Listen, men have to take accountability. Listen, the reason women are like this in America is because there's a lot of weak men in America. It's not the women, it's the men who caused it. It's the guys who didn't flee from temptation. Guys who don't flee from temptation, they're responsible for generational curses. They're responsible for the reason you weren't born in a mansion. And listen, if you weren't born in a mansion, it's 2025. You can put in the work, you can upload content, and you can eventually get in a mansion with a 5 to 7 to 10 year plan. Listen, I'm here to tell you, you need momentum. I repeat, you need momentum. Momentum is important. And if you release your seed, you release your momentum. If you retain your seed, you keep your momentum. How are you going to get to the top without momentum? Guys always want somebody to push them to the top. They want to be famous so bad because they don't have momentum. They need other people. They need to say subscribe and like and comment and share my video. They don't have momentum. When you're retaining your seed, listen, you are the momentum. When you flee from temptation, you are the momentum. When you run toward temptation, you're not the momentum, you're losing momentum. Listen, at the end of the day, the more you flee from lust, the quicker you're moving toward the LaFerrari, in a real estate, in a Corvette C8, in a Lambo Urus. The more you move toward that wet, that cat, that yum, 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 yum. Oh, you going down. You going down. Listen, your overall rating is going down. I repeat, if this was 2K in real life, your overall is going down. The guys who are on a 99 overall, these guys flee from all temptation. They riding around in SVJs still fleeing from temptation. I salute those guys. That's going to be me because, listen, if she's not the wife, why am I around her? If she's not your wife, why are you around her? If it's not work, a 9-to-5, business deals, why are you around women that you're not married to? This is how you go to jail. I repeat, being around women that you're not married to is how you go to jail. Having ulterior motives for women you're not married to is how you go to jail. You guys are either going to go to jail, and if you don't go to jail, you're going to get child support, you're going to get alimony, you're going to marry this woman that you thought was your wife, but the whole time you were just lusting after her. Guys are marrying women that they lust after. It's not going to work out. Listen, anytime you deal with a woman and lust is involved, just tell yourself in the background, oh, it's not going to work out. You're weak. You're weak. Lust was involved. You seen the camel toe and you was like, oh, it's not going to work out. If you see the camel toe and you like, oh, shoot, it's not going to work out. If you see the bubble and like, damn, I need to go talk to her, it's not going to work out. Lust causes social anxiety. You wouldn't have social anxiety if you were focused on LaFerraris and Corvette C8s and Lambo Uruses and focus on doing these diamond push-ups, focus on doing these dips, these curls, these buys and tries. You wouldn't have social anxiety. But since you don't care about buys and tries, you have social anxiety because you're focused on lust. Listen, at the end of the day, semen retention game, you know what's going on. Listen, bro.